and implement big ideas. Did anyone else hear that?
Yep.
Got it. Sorry.
We got it. Sorry, Vanshika, you are now being recorded.
Cool. Thank you. So going back to what I was saying, that the first thing that we need to think about is what are the key goals that are already present that we need to achieve. And oh, just realized my slides weren't doing that. There we go. Before we run off to implement other big ideas that we've had, and I've seen this happen often in clubs, my own clubs, where we've been trying to get members, attract new members, and we always come up with all these great ideas, big PR campaigns, and we put a lot of work into it, or we'll put a lot of thought into it, but when it comes down to it, there's not enough time that members can dedicate to actually achieve these tasks. And then things fall apart. Well, things don't get, work doesn't actually happen. Things don't get done. For example, a club with 20 plus members may want to focus on educational goals and pathways tracking, not necessarily a big PR campaign to attract more members. So this is where we come in. When we want to make them sit in a combined area council meeting to talk about membership drives, is it really worth their time? Or could they be spending that time planning rosters and scheduling speeches? Meetings, of course, they are important, but it's about making sure that we structure these meetings in a way that is valuing their time. At this point, I'd like to give a shout out to Melvin, because this is a point that was an insight from him, actually, something that I've learned from him. So thank you, Melvin, if you're still around here. Anyway, coming back to what I was saying, always start small and get where you need to first, and then talk about moving further. My second point, giving advice that is relevant. I feel like I shouldn't even have to say this, but I will. Listen first. Listen, listen, listen. And really listen to what it is that you need to offer support for. Because we want to make sure that the support we are offering is addressing the problem. If someone is allergic to citrus, would you offer them oranges? No, right? And if you're anything like me, then often what happens is we want to solve things. A puzzle, a riddle, a math problem, life problems. We want to help. That's why we are in this role. But is the advice you're giving, the support you're offering, is that something that the club wants and needs? Or is that something you think is good for the club, that you think the clubs should have? Tailor it to the need of the club, not one size fits all. Every club is different. Every club plays by the same rules, but the dynamics are different. And we won't know the club dynamics as well as their own members. So listen for what the club needs, not what you think the club needs. And I'll give you a little example in a minute. Third thing about giving advice that is relevant is, can you back it up? Has it been done before? Do you know of other clubs that have used the advice that you're giving your club and you know that to be successful? Can you refer them to tools and resources? And the example that I had was recently I had a club president ask me about automatic rosters, if there was any resource available that just created rosters for them. Now I know that some people like Free Toast Toast and some people prefer Easy Speak. What did I do? I didn't give my preference to him. What I did was, I know of a club that uses Easy Speak, and I know of a club that uses Free Toast Toast. I took the links for both clubs and I offered it to him, and I said, this is what is available. This is what people are using. This is what the clubs think of these resources. Now have a look around, play around with it, see what you prefer, talk to your executive team about it, and see what your club members would prefer. See what works for the club, see what is user-friendly, because that is it all comes down to the members and what they want, what they can use, what they find easy to use. Because again, it comes back to time. If people are struggling to find time to learn something or use something, they won't be using it. Finally, it was supposed to come out in bits and pieces. But finally, give advice by not giving advice. And this is the biggest thing. I think my view is that as area directors, our job is not to make the decisions for the club or come up with the ideas or run the club. Our job is to guide the executive teams of the clubs and empower them to take the club forward. So let them be in control. Your job is to ask the right questions so they can find the right answers. Don't give advice, offer support. Direct them to the tools and resources that are available so they can make informed decisions about the club. Ask them about what the goals are, what the visions are for the club, what the members want, what works for their club, what doesn't work for the club. Do hybrid meetings work for clubs? Do in-person meeting work for clubs better? Is the time correct? Are people making it to the meetings on time? Are people making it to the meetings regularly? Is there something that need to be addressed? Let them produce the ideas and determine the pros and cons. You can critique, you can share your experience, you can give them your view, but let them be in control and let them find the solutions, because that is how you build leaders. That was supposed to happen before as I spoke. Next. In conclusion, giving advice where it's needed. If it's not needed, if it's not broken, don't try to fix it. Fix the broken things first, then think about moving forward. Give advice that is relevant. Address the problems, address the questions. Don't give an orange to someone who is allergic to citrus. And thirdly, finally, give advice by not giving advice. Let them make the decisions. Let the club executives be in control. Your job is to guide them and direct them to the resources that will help them make the right decisions. And there are no bad decisions, only good lessons. Thank you. Sorry.
Vanshika, it seems you still have more words to say. Yes, please continue.
No, sorry, I was just checking if there is time. Where is the timer? If there is time, then I was
still ahead of time. Yes.
Oh, wonderful. Okay, great. Because I thought I didn't want to just stand here and speak my views out. I thought I'd open the floor to ideas from other people and their experiences, and even critique for my thoughts.
I thought that the list of questions you gave towards the end of your speech would be very, very, very useful for us to have in guiding the conversation with clubs. Could you maybe put that in the list somewhere, please?
Of course.
Yeah.
Sure.
So since we still have a couple of minutes, I think we can have a short Q&A session. If any questions, we can throw to Vanshika. Thank you very much, Vanshika, for sharing your thoughts and experience.
I thought that was called Vanshika, especially for somebody who's only been in the job for 3.5 months.
Thank you.
I think I've been in the job for 10 years. I had thought of all that stuff. I'd like a copy of it sometime if I could get that, please.
Of course.
Well done. I have it. I'll take quite a bit of that on board, because I'm in the position where I'm a brash sort of person. I would like to tell my clubs, you do this and you do that, because I just find it frustrating with a couple of the clubs I've got. I think that approach is excellent.
Oh, great. I'm glad you found it helpful, Ralph. I'll share the slides and my notes with everyone.
Good, thank you.
Any other ideas? Anything to add?
Congratulations, Vanshika, very well presented and good advice to us to try and get the clubs to find their own solutions.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Yes, that is something that I do live by. I think one thing I'd like to add is if anyone's read the book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, my key takeaway was people like to feel important. Everyone wants to be important, and everyone wants, I have a quote actually here, talk to someone about themselves and they'll listen for hours. That was a quote from the book. And that is very true. You know, if you let them be in control, they will one, be motivated and find solutions, and they will grow as well. And so you area directors, I think, can be great coaches for clubs and members.
Wonderful. We
Wonderful.
still have, we still can fit in 1 or 2 questions.
I was going to say that first I apologize for arriving late. I just come from another meeting and I was running the Zoom. But what I was hearing from you, Vanshika, I thought was fantastic stuff. And to me, what you seem to be doing was introducing people, talking about coaching, but explaining that they're actually mentors.
Yep.
And mentoring is where it's a bit like the university systems, where you encourage people to go out and find for themselves. And you're absolutely right. If you can make it somebody else's answer, they will more willingly accept it. I have a club at the moment that's only got 10 members, but they don't want a coach. I'm not rushing to give them one, but I am suggesting ideas of how they can increase their membership. Hopefully, that's what we're talking about.
Okay.
And well done.
Thank you, Rob. Anne-Marie had her hand up.
Yes, go ahead, Marie.
Hello, everybody.
Hi.
Thank you for your discussion. I've got a couple of problems, so we'll see where you want to go with that. I have 2 dynamics that I'm feeling, I guess, a little bit challenged around. One is a club that has a value going no pressure approach. However, from
Anne-Marie, would you be more comfortable sharing this in the unrecorded part?
Oh, well, I'm totally comfortable, but if you would prefer me to do that, that's fine.
Yeah. So this is the Q&A at the end of Vanshika's discussion, and then we'll do the unrecorded Q&A where we can talk about specific examples at 8:30.
Okay. Cool.
Good suggestion, James. And you can probably hold on your temptation. Let's move on. Next up.
That is the end. Thank you.
Thank you, Vanshika. Next up, let's welcome our CGD, James Hipler, to deliver his report.
Hello, area directors. Yes, another club growth director report for the past month. I have some winnings and some challenges to share. First of all, Thomas Newman, area director from M4, is asking for help with Orion Health. Now, the challenge is they meet Tuesday lunchtimes. They need a coach. One of you are available in the CBD for that. Second, also in M4, technically Toastmasters has appointed Sabrina Nassim as her club coach. Yay! She's the current Div K director, so geographic boundary is not an excuse. Third, we've got 1 more week to go for your area director reports to get in time. If you haven't started, create the record tonight, please. Then gradually add to it and save it and then submit it before the 30th, in fact, before the 29th, in fact, before the 28th of September, because you don't want to run the risk that Toastmasters International website goes down. It has done in the past. Fourth, Robert McLaren, Area Director for M1 Rosebank, which meets Thursdays lunchtime, also needs a coach. Have you considered yourself to be a coach? Fifth, Dean Yee, Immediate Pass Division Director for N, I think it was, has been appointed to Varsity Club as coach. Varsity Club is an N4 under Area Director Apu, and Varsity Club has just been reinstated and got 10 members. So Varsity Club is a success story. We're starting to see turnaround in that on that one. We don't want to let it go. It has a very low club number. It's a very ancient club. Speaking of which, last night, yeah, Meadowbank celebrated their 43rd anniversary, but are also in need of members. They meet Tuesdays at 7 p.m. The area director 01 is Penny Kennett, and the immediate past area director is Michelle Redding. Penny and Michelle have just been appointed co-coaches of Meadowbank, so that's interesting. Ben Ross, who was immediate past 03 director and is currently Div O director, is standing up Commercial Bay. Did you know this? Are you interested in getting on board with that? Commercial Bay Club. Also, this is the final week for clubs to achieve Smedley Award. That's something, if they can achieve 5 or more new members in August and September, they go in the draw. Well, no, they will get a ribbon from World Headquarters, but you, the area director, it's an extra kudos to you too. And you go in the draw to be the district area director of the year, if you can get one of your clubs to achieve Smedley Award. 9th piece of good news, Woolworths New Zealand Club is chartering. They have put in their charter papers. This will be based in Division O. The interesting thing about Woolworths is that currently, because it's online, it's actually hybrid, no, not hybrid, it's also Oz. So Oz and New Zealand, North and South, this has the potential, this club has the potential to string a lot of sister clubs along once they get back into face-to-face. 10th, Glenda George has been appointed club coach for Takapuna Midday Toastmasters Club in L4 under Clifford Kerr-Phillips. And finally, in M3, Graham Gunn is area director, and he has a club, Speechcraft Club, which needs members or will close. And that would be a great shame if that club were to close, because they were able to offer their services as Speechcraft coaches, but with the current situation, they haven't been able to retain membership. So if you're thinking about it, if you've ever done a Speechcraft course, if you're interested in that, then Graham Gunn's the man to talk to if you want to get on board with the Speechcraft Club. So those are my reports for the past month to do with area directors and clubs and coaches. And I will hand back now to the chair.
Thank you, James, for deliver so good news to us. And also, we do remember we have to offer help as well for a few clubs. With that, I think we can end our recording. Go, Robin, and I think recording now started. So I'll just name one by one. I'll start from Melvin. What's your takeaway? It seems so long.
My takeaway is come to the next meeting. So I think it's really interesting. I make a lot of notes, and my takeaway will be to speak to James with all those new club coaches and have a meeting with those club coaches. They all have the similar problems, and actually put some wheels in motion and get them to make some changes to see if those changes result in a positive outcome for the clubs.
Thanks, Marvin. To save Mark's time, next will be Marcus. What's your takeaway?
My takeaway from tonight is that we have a situation where we can create some unhealthy conditions within clubs due to presidents being dominating in an area for so long. And presidents are the problem in the clubs, or they can be the shining light, and we really need to find a better way to control that. And really, there's too many people that we push on the fact that some of these lower ranking positions are leadership positions. There is only one, it's the president of the club, and we need to focus on that. That's me.
Thank you, Marcus. Also, you have timer for yourself. Next up, BJ. BJ, please mute.
Good evening, everybody. Yes, what I took away from the meeting tonight, good positive all round from James and Hamish and everybody. I love the presentation tonight, and I enjoyed that because don't try to fix something if it isn't broken. And that's a good way of looking at things. Build on that, and you can be believing that you can do it. The one thing I'm a great believer in is my mentor, which I've had 3 of them now that have all gone, which was Graham Elliott, David and Kingsley. They all said, if in doubt, ask. There's always someone there to give you advice and help. Thank you, Daniel.
Thanks, John. Next up, Fiona, your turn.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters. My takeaway for tonight was remember to listen and not rush in and speak when you are talking to your clubs. And I really enjoyed the thought of the day as well, is believe in yourself. Thank you.
Thank you, Fiona. Next will be Tamarama Tangara.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters. My takeaway for the evening is the presentation. I thought that it was very informative, particularly for me, very timely as well. The other one is the notion of club coaches being the borders of the divisions are not something that will constrain. So that I also thought was good. So for example, outside of P1, we could have a coach that is in a different division. So thank you.
Thank you. Felix, your thought.
It was good for me to hear about the success story at the Varsity Club being revived with 10 new members. And it was also good to hear about the club officer release statements.
Thank you. Leighton, you're next. Can you raise your voice? We cannot hear you.
Oh, my headset was muted.
Okay, very functional.
My main takeaway is that I really should get more sleep before these meetings because I barely paid attention because I'm just so tired.
Okay.
I haven't even had dinner yet. I'm crashing. The presentation that Vanshika gave earlier was quite interesting, and I'll have to read it probably later when I'm more able to function.
Hamish, would you share your thought as well?
Yeah, I think it's stuff that I've heard before. I work in sales, so I know to be more interested than interesting. So you sit back and you listen to people and you ask them questions and you just let them sort of steer them to their answers. But if they think it's their own answer, they're much more likely to adopt it, much like my little kids. I mean, I can tell them to go to bed. They don't do it. If I make sort of suggestions and promote it, you know, the good things about it, they get much better compliance. So I guess it's all pretty simple in theory.
Thank you, Hamish. Vanshika, how about yourself?
I actually like listening about Anne-Marie's challenges or the challenges that she brought up, and I thought well, I've realized how important it is for clubs to have good leadership because members are affected in the end. But I also liked James's advice on that, and that members at the end should also focus on their own personal goals, and we should give them the resources or direct them in that way, in that direction, to think about their goals and make decisions based on that.
Rob? Sorry, Rafa? You want to say first? Okay. Rafa first.
Oh, maybe. Okay. Yep. Once again, appreciation of Vanshika's thing. I think I knew most of that stuff, but it gives me a way to perhaps get beyond my frustration with 2 or 3 of my clubs and stop me taking my frustration out on them, being a bit more positive about it.
Cool. Rob, sorry, it's your turn now.
Thank you. Yes, no, it's a fascinating presentation, I must admit, and a good reminder of what we can and can't do. But one thing sitting on my mind is the vision of one person being the president of 3 clubs.
Oh God,
can't be right.
That's like war.
Something that needs to be looked at.
All right,
that's all I'm saying.
Thank you. Finally, Kurish.
Yes, for me, I enjoyed the presentation. It was a good one. Then the club success plans being a problem all around. It's nothing new, but it was interesting to find the area directors closing off their reports. So without that, even though we have time till 30th of November, I'm not suggesting that we keep stretching till the 30th of November, but it's good to also find out where we draw the line. I mean, there must be a reason why TM has given us time till 30th of November. So as you know, we don't close them off 31st of July or 31st of August. So it's one of those things I've been grappling with. I've given my folks time till end of this month, and I want to close off. So that's where I am with that. And anyway, all around, I got a good update. It's good to be here.
Thank you for sharing your goal. James, any other agenda or points you want to raise before we wrap up our meeting?
Sure thing. So one of my takeaways was I made an offer last month for a volunteer to come forward, and Vanshika did. So if you make an opportunity, leaders will rise. Second thing is I got 2 deadlines conflated. The area director reports are the 30th of November.
Yeah, I love
the Smedley Awards are the 30th of September. I got those confused. I apologize for that.
I was thinking I've got it wrong. I was thinking, oh shoot, what am I going to do? Oh, thanks for that.
Yeah, but if your club is under 12, it would be good if they were done this month. Then we have more time to do something about them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Next month is the 28th of October. The topic is how to motivate clubs to succeed, or anything else that the keynote speaker wants to do instead. I'm looking for a volunteer for next month, the 28th of October.
Thank you, James. We are looking forward to. All right, that's end of the meeting. So, yeah, Marcus, you have something to say?
If I can be so rude, Daniel, I just did a quick analysis, and if we are 1% better every day, in 242 days, we're going to be 10 times better than we are now.
Interesting.
Thank you, Excel. Yeah.
You're analytic.
Yeah.
Thank you for wrap up. I think it's a high tune. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for joining the meeting today. Keep in touch. Bye.